So in this video we're going to look at how to set up your pattern draft. So what you're going to need is your pattern blocks. So this is a half scale, and so I got these when I was studying at RMIT, but whatever blocks you have, you'll need them. Some markers and a pen, pencil, a ruler, and a square if you have one. So you need a right angle. If you don't have one, that's all right, you'll make do. All right, so first things first is we've got to set up our balance lines. Now I'd recommend you do it in pencil, but I'm going to do it in pen just so that you can see what I'm doing. So the first thing we're going to do is a line down the side of your page. So you need a fairly decent sized piece of paper. All right, then I'm going to do if you look at your pattern, so this line here, that's going to be our balance line. I'm going to do a right angle line going horizontal. Then I'm going to continue that across. And then, so I've got a line through here which is making my right angles nice and quick, but if you don't have that, that's all right. Probably don't need to go all the way. So there we are. So that is that's our first setup for balancing. Then we're going to grab our blocks. So this is a bodice block. We're going to set them on the line, so matching this dotted line to the balance line here. And this edge, so this is the back, this is the center back edge, balancing or matching it up to that back line. Then you're going to trace it. Going into the little notches of your block. If you haven't cut out the notches, that's all right. You can just do a line like that out. When I take the block away, you'll be able to see better. So marking in all the different marks. In these circles here, you want to mark through. So I've used an awl, so a bit of a skewer to poke through. If you don't have that, you can put a pin through and then lift up your pattern and mark like that. Demonstrate. So if you just pop a pin through that hole, lift it up, and then mark where the pin points through. So that's your back. Then we do the same for the front, making sure this line, dotted line here, matches through. If you don't have a line on the block that you're using, you can use your underarm point, should be this point, or you can use your waistline if you're using a torso block or a skirt block. So the idea of having it balanced means that if whatever you do to the front, you are able to do to the back, and you're making sure that everything's going to match up and look good when you're finished. So there's one middle dart point here. Once again, if you haven't poked it through with a skewer, grab a pin and stick it through your block, lift it up and mark underneath. So you can see the pinpoint there. Mark that. All right, so you've traced out your block pieces. This is the back and this is the center back, so we're going to label it center back. This is the front, and this is your center front line, so going right down the middle of your chest. So we're going to label this center front. All right. We also need to then draw in our dart lines. So we've got these marks here. If you hadn't cut them out, you might have marks sticking outside of your block. and then you've got your dart points, which are these little dots we did with the pins. So you're going to draw in your darts. So from the point to the line, and just draw them in. So the reason we have darts is because it gives us shape. We're not flat. We've got curves and bumps. Especially us girls, we need some darts in the front of our tops just for a bit of shaping, otherwise things will not fit well. So marking in the darts. So at the back we've got 2 darts, they don't meet. Got a little shoulder dart up here and a waist dart here. And these are both bust darts, but one's coming from the waist and one's coming from the shoulder. Alright, and the last thing to do before we get to any pattern making is to label your pattern draft. So the title, so this is a bodice block draft, then make a note of the date, your name, that this is a half scale block, and also that it's a women's block. This may change depending on what block you're using.